So I'm from the northwest side of Chicago, the far northwest side. I grew up kind of on the edge of the city where it's a great feel. It's kind of a suburban feel, but it's still in the city. And then I've lived there my whole life. Now I live in a neighborhood called Edison Park up on the northwest side. So I love it up there. I don't think I'll ever leave. I've just always had so many ideas since I was in high school and college. And I think I love technology, I love business, and I love apps. So the combination of those things and just using social media, being interested in audio, especially music, especially hip hop. So a combination of those things just morphed into the idea for Soundbite, and I took the idea and now I'm trying to run with it. To kind of explain the concept of Soundbite, it's basically the audio Twitter or Instagram where it's micro sharing of audio clips. So you can share music, you could share clips of movies, you could share random thoughts, breaking news, really anything like that. And again, music, I think, led me in the direction of that. And actually one thing that really hit me and struck a chord with me was the song All of the Lights by Rihanna back in the day, probably back in 2010 or something. They released a snippet of that song about 20 seconds long, and people were going crazy over it. And then they waited about 6 months for people to get hold of that teaser and really get interested in the song, and then they released the whole song. So it's a very effective way to market the product in the eyes of musicians and artists. So go hide behind your Soundbite account and post some audio of you recording a snippet in the studio and share it to your audience. And again, it has that teaser effect. It's a limit of 14-second audio recordings, so you can't post the whole song on there, but that's by design. You can post a snippet, you can post maybe the hook on there, and then it gives people that teaser effect where they want more, and they'll go to SoundCloud or they'll go buy your album on iTunes. All those things kind of just combined into one small, simple idea of Soundbite. We started development in September of 2014, a little over a year ago. We launched the app. It's technically in beta testing right now. We're trying to gather feedback and enhance the app and improve the technology. So we launched the app for iOS, iPhone, and iPad in July of 2015. And again, we're just taking all this information and running with it as fast as we can and trying to execute the business as effectively as we can. Everybody says, how are you going to compete with the big dogs? How are you going to take attention from people's day against Facebook, Instagram, Vine, Twitter, Snapchat? All those things consume people nowadays. How are you going to compete for people's attention and time with those big dogs? So my answer to that is that our goal is to get the technology to where you can consume sound bites, the audio clips on the Soundbite platform, without touching or looking at the phone or the device. So you could be driving in your car and Bluetoothing it through your speakers. You could plug the headphones in and you could be working and listening to the people you follow on Soundbite. Whereas if you think about Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Vine, Snapchat, they all have one common thing where you have to look at the phone and you have to touch the device for it to operate and for you to be able to consume the content. So Soundbite, the big differentiator will be to fill those gaps when you're driving, working out, working, cleaning, cooking, and you can still consume that social media content that everybody craves. It's shareable, so you can share it to your audience on Soundbite, and you can follow them, and it's a timeline format. So you'll share it to your followers on Soundbite, and then there's also optional things where you can also follow or share to your followers on Twitter and Facebook. So it's easily shareable, one tap, and it's sharing to your Twitter audience, and they just tap a link, similar to if you share an Instagram on Twitter. So you tap the link, and then the audio clip plays. So. Also, if you're just posting random thoughts on there, for example, Barack Obama just got a Twitter account, and to me, when I see him tweeting, I'm assuming it's a PR person behind the phone actually tweeting for him. So I feel like for artists out there, it's a way to be way more personal to your fans, personable and direct, where they can actually hear your voice and your dialect and your tone, and you can really communicate more genuinely with them than you can on Twitter and Instagram and Vine. It's a long process. Everybody always talks about overnight success, and it's not overnight. Twitter, Instagram, all those apps that we've been talking about, it takes a long time. It takes at least a year probably just to develop it. It takes building a team of the right people There's going to be hiccups. There's going to be times where you take 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So it takes a lot of patience, a lot of organizational skills, leadership skills, and again, I'm not perfect. I'm learning these things the hard way, so it takes a lot of time and effort. Nobody should go into it expecting to become a millionaire overnight. That would be my biggest advice. I'm really taking it one day at a time, and I try not to make it about the money. Just being successful, and I've put so much time and effort and energy into this, and just to find success, whatever that may be, whether it's a high school kid coming up to me on the street and saying, "I love your app," that's a minor success right there. So I think just getting the word out, seeing how people use it, and hopefully making the world a little bit of a better place. Just a few months ago, somebody out in Ireland signed up for Soundbite and started posting some music from some Irish pubs. I just found that amazing and so cool. So just to have it spread out there, and hopefully people have fun with it, and it's another way for us to connect everybody throughout the world. I love globalization, and I feel like it brings everyone together, and hopefully someday it kind of brings the peace too, where everybody is in the same state of mind and on the same page. So hopefully it's just one more step in that right direction.